From the edges of history where shadows whisper truths too strange to grasp comes a story older than time itself. You're listening to The Shadow Frequency, a journey into the unseen, the untold, and the unthinkable. Tonight, your guide Matt Wilson takes you back over 5,000 years to the cradle of civilization, where the Anunnaki walked among us. Were they gods of myth or visitors from the stars? Prepare to question everything you know. The frequency is shifting. Matt, take it away.
Welcome, seekers of the unknown, to the Shadow Frequency. I'm your host, Matt Wilson, and this episode we're diving deep into the shadows of history, where myth, science, and the unexplained collide. Today's topic, the Anunnaki, ancient Sumerian gods, or something far more cosmic. Could these beings etched into clay tablets thousands of years ago have been extraterrestrials who shaped humanity's past? Grab your headphones, turn down the lights, and let's tune in to the frequency of the unknown. Let's start with the basics. The Anunnaki appear in some of the oldest written records we have. Sumerian's texts from Mesopotamia dating back over 5,000 years. These were the cradle of civilization, folks. Think modern-day Iraq, where cities like Uruk and Babylon once thrived. The Sumerians were innovators. They gave us writing, the wheel, and some wild stories about their gods. And the Anunnaki? They're the headliners of that divine cast. The name Anunnaki roughly translates to those who came from the heavens to earth. Already that's got an extraterrestrial vibe, right? In these ancient texts like the Enuma Elish and other creation myths, they're described as powerful beings who descended to Earth, tasked with everything from mining gold to creating humans. Yeah, you heard that right, creating us. Now, if you're thinking this sounds like a job for a mythology class, hang on, because in the 20th century, a guy named Zecharia Sitchin flipped the script. Sitchin, a scholar of ancient languages, argued these weren't just myths. He said the Anunnaki were real. Extraterrestrials from a planet called Nibiru, a supposed rogue world in our solar system. His books, like The 12th Planet, took the fringe world by storm. Critics called him a crackpot, but his ideas stuck. Why? Because when you dig into the details, some of this stuff is weirdly specific for just a campfire tale. Let's paint the picture Sitchin gives us. Advanced beings, tall and imposing, arriving in spacecraft needing gold to repair their planet's atmosphere. They land on Earth, set up shop, and eventually, get this, engineer humans as a labor force. Sounds like sci-fi, but could there be truth in the shadows? Well, let's break it down. All right, let's put on our investigator hats for a moment. What's the case for the Anunnaki being extraterrestrials? First up, the texts themselves. The Sumerians didn't mess around with vague metaphors. They wrote about the Anunnaki coming from the sky with detailed genealogies and job descriptions. One tablet talks about Enki and Ninhursag, two Anunnaki big shots mixing clay with divine essence to create humans. Clay could be a stand-in for genetics, right? DNA tampering by aliens? That's elite, but not a crazy one when you think about it. Then there's the gold obsession. The texts say the Anunnaki needed it, lots of it. Sitchin's theory ties this to Nibiru's atmosphere. But even mainstream archaeology agrees ancient Mesopotamia was nuts about gold. Mining operations, trade routes, it's all there. Why would gods need a metal? Maybe they weren't gods. Maybe they were engineers with a deadline. And check this out, Sumerian art. Those famous carvings and seals, they show tall humanoid figures with bird-like helmets, sometimes in what looks like flying machines. One seal even depicts a solar system with 12 planets. Ours has 8, or 9 if you're still Team Pluto. Where'd that extra count come from? Well, Sitchin says it's Nibiru. Skeptics say it's just artistic flair. You decide. Now let's zoom out. The Anunnaki aren't alone in this narrative. Flood myths, creation stories, they pop up worldwide. The Bible's Nephilim, the sons of God who mingled with humans, sound a lot like these guys. Same with the Apkallu in the Babylonian lore. Wise beings from the sea or maybe the stars? If these were extraterrestrials, could they have been a global influence, leaving breadcrumbs across cultures? One more thing, and this is wild. Ancient astronaut theorists point to structures like the pyramids or Baalbek's megaliths, stones weighing hundreds of tons cut with laser precision. The Sumerians didn't build those, but their Anunnaki stories might connect the dots. Advanced tech from off-world visitors, it's not proof, but it's a hell of a coincidence. Of course, mainstream science isn't buying it. They say the Anunnaki were just deities, symbols of nature or power. Nibiru, no evidence in the sky, but here's the kicker. Evidence of evidence isn't the evidence of absence. What do you think so far? Alien overlords or overactive imaginations? And hey, as far as that extra planet, check the news on the internet. You'll find lots of stories coming out these days about that planet. Most likely does exist out there in our solar system somewhere. But let's play devil's advocate. The skeptics have a point. No spaceships, no alien skeletons, no smoking ray guns. Of course, for the skeletons, I point to the elongated skulls that are all over the world in museums. The Sumerians were storytellers. Maybe they exaggerated. Gold could have been a status symbol, not a planetary fix. And those 12 planets could be a miscount or mythology, not a star map. Sitchin's translations get flack too. Some say he stretched the cuneiform to fit his narrative. Fair enough. But here's where it gets sticky. The Sumerians knew stuff they shouldn't have. Their math was base 60, way ahead of its time. They tracked stars like Sirius with creepy accuracy. Where'd that come from? Random genius or a nudge from above? And let's speculate for a second. If the Anunnaki were ETs, what happened? Did they leave after the job was done? Are they still out there, watching us bumble along? Some say Nibiru's on a long orbit, thousands of years, due back any millennium now. Others think they seeded us and split like cosmic gardeners. Personally, I think the planet is actually orbiting its own star, which is a companion star to our sun, probably like a red dwarf, maybe brown dwarf, whatever. But I think the whole solar system revolves. I think our two suns spin around each other. That's my thought. But here's another chilling thought. What if we're still part of their plan? Genetic experiments don't end. They evolve. Are we their legacy or their livestock? I don't have all the answers, but the questions keep me up at night. One last curveball, modern UFO sightings. People like David Grush, that ex-intelligence guy, claim governments know about non-human tech. Could it tie back to the Anunnaki? Long shot, but on the shadow frequency, we don't rule anything out. That's our time, folks. The Anunnaki, gods, aliens, or a bit of both. We've walked the line between history and the impossible, and I'll let you decide where the truth hides. Maybe it's buried in Sumerian clay, or maybe it's up there in the stars. If you've got thoughts, theories, or your own shadow frequency to share, hit me up in the comments. Next time, we'll tackle another dark story. Until then, keep your eyes on the skies and your mind in the shadows. This is Matt Wilson signing off. Stay curious, stay awake, and stay tuned.